Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, the number one arguing podcast in the world. We're coming fresh off heated arguments, heavy topics, but we're right back into it. We're doing a little bit of a follow-up conversation regarding the last episode, and then a lot of business news, talking about what's happening over at Meta. We're talking about Californians getting a refund. We're talking about who the next president's going to be. No one liked this guy. And he has a shot at being president. Actually, no one likes any of the candidates, and they all have a great shot at being president.
Yes, it's the 2020s, roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s. Money is flowing. People's stores are doing so bad, they're turning off the AC just to survive.
Bullwhip effect.
Bullwhip. Michael Burry come up with a new statement. Never heard of Bullwhip. He's talking about how everything's going to rip and the good times are roaring back. And so much more. Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, we are back with another episode of Group Chat. And I hate Anand's guts.
Yeah, you would think it would just be drama in one of us, but you're stuck with us too. It's interesting. A lot of people reached out thinking it was a crazy fight. We've had way crazier fights on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, earlier, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's gotten way testier than that.
Yeah.
And I re-listened. It was testy, but not crazy.
Yeah, maybe. I think we haven't fought in a while, so maybe that's why.
Maybe we need to fight more, bring it back to our childhood. I mean, for the listeners, our childhood was just one big fight.
Yeah. It's an ongoing fight.
Our mom was convinced when we turned 18, we'd never speak again. And now we have 5 hours of podcasting a week. And we work together for 20 years.
Yeah, all we do is speak. But yeah, that's the fun of it. You're allowed to argue.
Yeah, and I think I got reached out by some female Kathys, and I thought it was some good feedback. Well, like, I do agree with your point. Like, a female's perspective would be really welcome, and if anyone wants to volunteer and come on, open seat.
Yeah,
but they were, kind of saying, it's important for men to be as angry as women. Yeah, and they appreciated that. We conveyed that on the podcast, and it's contraception's two people. Yeah. Right? Like, men and females should be just as concerned, while it obviously is the woman's body, and we're not going to go down that rabbit hole again. But I think people were excited that three men cared so much about a female topic.
Yeah. Look, it's the most important topic as far as I'm concerned. I think it's all of this is also, unfolding live, right? So we're going to understand how it all works now, and what are all I was reading about all these amazing organizations that are financing for people who need to travel. How many employers are going, especially these huge companies that have people all over the world and all over the country, how they're willing to pay for travel, like Dick's Sporting Goods and JP Morgan, and the list goes on and on.
Which I think it should show how serious of a ruling this is. Yeah. Because in 11 states already, as of fucking 4 hours ago, it's changing by the hour. Yeah. It's already illegal. Yeah. Depending on some at contraception, some at 6 weeks. You could go by state. So the fact that Fortune 100 companies realize this is an immediate impact. Yeah. This isn't like, oh, the law just got passed and we'll see how it affects everyone. It's affecting, people in the country immediately, and which is why corporate companies have come to the forefront and say hey, we're here to help. But like we said, if you work at one of these companies, you're likely middle class at the minimum. It's the poor people that get screwed.
Yeah, and I think a big opportunity for these organizations is to get in those lower income communities and educate them that this is an option for them. Right. Because, the people on Twitter know that there's these organizations, or their company may be willing to do it. And unfortunately, when this type of situation happens, people like to keep it very private. so they don't ask for help. And then, unfortunate things happen because they're not able to ask for help.
The dark way of making an abortion isn't healthy for the women.
Yeah.
You could die.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it can get pretty ugly. And
I think, look, we all know all the challenges that are up ahead, and it'll be interesting to see how states react to it. The pro states, the anti-states, companies. There's going to be so many incidents that we're going to hear about that are going to really dictate how this whole thing unfolds. And then more importantly, like, what is the Democratic Party going to do about it? Because like I've kind of stopped listening to all the shouting, so I don't know, but no one has presented a strategy to me or I've heard that seems like a way out of this situation.
Yeah. And like the data, even for men of like kind of the age where you would go to college, so call it late teens, people who were involved with an abortion versus having a kid are 4 times as likely to go to college. So call it a 17 or 18-year-old. If they had a kid versus if they had an abortion, they're 4 times as likely to go to college if they were involved in the couple that did the abortion.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's a long game. Republicans are smart. Keep the people stupid.
It may be.
I'm telling you, they know. They're playing the long game.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a staggering stat.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but like to hear it quantified is like very different.
Here's an interesting thing. Meta, basically the cause of all these problems.
Yeah.
Right? Has now cited a company policy that puts strong guardrails around social, political, and sensitive conversation. Your whole platform is this.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you tell this?
Yeah, you can't do the Coinbase where you change,
because their business isn't about making money off of political discourse.
No.
The entire Facebook thing. You go on Facebook to argue with your family members about politics. That is what Facebook is. You want to argue with your MAGA aunt.
100%.
That's what it's for.
Yeah. And you should be arguing with your MAGA coworker in the company.
Yeah. Why not?
Get on Slack and start firing away.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a very tough thing for Facebook or Meta to say you can't talk about it in the company, but we monetize it.
Exactly. Like, look at the top 10. It's like Hannity.
Yeah, you look at top 10 videos, it's Ben Shapiro. It's
Hannity, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to talk about what makes all your money?
Yeah. You can't go like, I really like that Ben Shapiro video in the Slack channel. They're like, well, we put it out. We help make it popular. This is going to be a tough one for them to, die on the sword on. Because their entire business is predicated on this.
Cheryl News, a burning dumpster fire.
Well, they're throwing her under the bus.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative articles about her.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And, before we leave politics land, have you caught any of this January 6th stuff?
No, but I did hear that Trump launched the Secret Service.
He tried to grab the steering wheel.
He wanted to go back to the Capitol.
He was trying to get to the Capitol so he can kind of
be the face
and declare victory. And the Secret Service said, no, you have to get back to the West Wing. And I'm just trying to think logistically how that happened. He's in a limousine.
It's a big car.
Did he have make the driver open the window and then lean and lunge for the steering wheel? And then Secret Service had to physically grab him. Yeah. Like a fight. It's almost like
it's incredible.
You're getting caught by a bouncer, you're lunging and a bouncer just grabs you. And this is the President of the United States.
I like his passion.
It's the January 6th stuff.
It's a circus.
It's insanity.
Yeah, it's complete insanity. I mean,
and I don't care what your political leaning is.
Yeah.
This guy was throwing plates when he found out Pence wouldn't. He said Pence should get hanged.
Yeah. It's interesting content.
And guess who's the likely nominee for the Republican Party?
The leader of the circus.
How do people reconcile that? I get the DeSantis shit, like whatever. I'm not a Republican, but like whatever. He's.
That's what you have to do to save democracy.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. You got at all
because
by any means
here's what
necessary.
scares me about DeSantis is like the dude's highly educated, Yale, and he wasn't the Trump silver spoon kid.
Yeah.
Like he got into Yale. I think he went to Harvard Law, something like whatever the combo is.
Yeah.
And he understands the Trump circus, but he doesn't come with the Trump baggage. And that's a very dangerous combo.
Yeah. Because Trump lacks credibility.
Yeah.
In most conversations.
And DeSantis is just smart enough. You could see the way his entire governorship has gone since the pandemic. He realized he was striking a chord with a certain sect of the population, specifically in Florida, and it was working. And now he has a shot. I don't know, man. It's going to be chaos 2024.
Yeah. Entertaining.
DeSantis versus Trump will be better than Trump versus the media during COVID.
What about Adrian Peterson versus Le'Veon Bell?
That's also a good one.
We predict on this show that everyone should fight?
Yeah.
And that is what's happening. Two like superstar football players. Are they both out of the NFL?
Yes.
For sure. Le'Veon Bell's out now.
AP played last year, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Do they think they're just going to catch a couple games and then go beat each other up?
Why do they even want to fight?
Why not?
I guess you're a football player. What's the big deal of getting in the ring?
Yeah, it's easier than playing football.
Yeah.
I mean, why doesn't DeSantis and Trump duke it out? And then for the presidency, it's just a big fight. It's whoever is, standing after a day of fighting.
And then, like, I hate to keep talking about politics, but I sent this in one of our chats. Like, Newsom has a massive ad buy in Florida that kicks off July 4th.
So that means...
I mean, you're governor of California. Why are you buying ads in Florida? You're running for president. Or you're testing it.
Is it... Okay. So it is running in Florida. That's confirmed.
In Florida, confirmed, starting July 4th. You will see Newsom ads.
Yeah, I mean, why the fuck not?
What's he running on the $100 billion surplus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably his ability...
He's a good-looking guy. Great hair.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like a president that's like tall, good-looking, nice hair. Just because, like the president from Scandal. I don't know if you watched the show.
Yeah, of course I watched Scandal.
He reminds me of Gavin Newsom. His background reminds me of Gavin Newsom.
Okay. He needs a fixer.
I'm sure he has plenty, given all the shit he does. Interesting to see that that just tells you how bad the Democrat candidates are. Gavin Newsom is not liked in his own state by the people who voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Name someone that walks around California who's a Democrat that voted for him is like, man, that guy is good.
Yeah.
But he's going to run for president. This is how fucking crazy politics is. An unlikable California governor is the front runner for the Democratic Party.
I might have to just go Bernie and give away 80% of my money. I don't know what else is left.
Nah, I'll roll with Gavin. I don't hate his guys that much. I mean, Bernie Sanders is 100. Like, it's just not going to work. Like, you can't have a 100-year-old.
Yeah.
As we know now, it's not great.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, like,
do you think DeSantis has the mental stamina to deal with the Donald Trump verbal insults that are just going to be a full-time onslaught?
I think,
like, he's going to go after his wife.
Yeah. So I think
kids.
DeSantis does. It's whether his family does.
Right?
Yeah, because Donald Trump's kids are buttheads, literally buttheads. So everyone's making fun of them all day, every day. They don't care. They're just fighting back with memes. They're also adults. DeSantis probably has younger, I don't know, all those children.
I'm going to wiki and keep talking.
Yeah,
I want to see what his family makeup is.
Yeah, and I think, like, I don't know, whatever. I don't want to get too caught up in protests. In politics. The other thing I saw is on Amazon, they're now restricting purchases of Plan B pills because the demand went berserk. So I'm curious to see how people handle that, because I'm sure access to it is going to be scarce given what's happening. So that in itself will be a big thing for pharmaceutical companies to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big mess because it all happened immediate. Like we said, immediately states have made it illegal.
Yeah. So, if you got pregnant over the weekend, shit, like it's pretty wild time. So we'll see. I mean, I think like look, at the end of the day, like all the politics in America are going to be extremely painful to watch for the next, 18 months till the election.
Well, we're going to have two, right? You have the midterms.
Yeah.
And that's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Because I saw a stat. Democrats are now donating over $44 million to ultra right-wing candidates to make them less favorable in the general.
That's fucking stupid. Because what if they win?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's an interesting strategy. We're going to donate to like the crazies
and watch, they'll start winning.
Yeah.
And this will be like, oh, that's a great strategy. Let's just give it to the whack jobs.
I mean, $44 million is no joke.
Yeah. I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea at all. Why take that risk?
Yeah.
It's too high of a risk. All right, let's move on to some business news. Michael Burry put out a very interesting tweet yesterday.
And he deletes his tweets every day.
Yeah.
So you can't see it if you look today.
There's a Twitter account that Michael Burry's disappearing tweets or something like that.
Oh, there is?
Yeah,
Good.
he copies and pastes and leaves off the tweets. So he posted a tweet around something called a Bullwhip effect. And he's saying that the supply gut at retail could cause this bullwhip effect, meaning we have so much excess inventory that we're going to be put in such a bad place that the Fed might actually have to go back to quantitative easing.
Yep.
And so that means what he's saying is there's going to be too much inventory, not enough demand. Businesses start to really struggle really fast. And in order to stimulate the economy, they'll have no choice but to go back to cutting interest rates. If that happens, this guy's usually not right in most things.
Yeah.
But
he got headlines.
It's a great headline. Because everyone's talking about it.
So I wonder what's he implying? We're just going to be
we're going to see deflationary on all categories because there's too much of everything.
Right. So everything price goes down because demand's
There was an article that I read about Bed Bath & Beyond. They're expecting their sales to be down at least 30% this year. Their sales are down so bad and they're trying to save costs. They are turning off the air conditioner in stores during not busy times.
And it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot today in LA.
Yeah. And so that just tells you like at retail, it's already happened.
Yes.
Like the demand destruction has already happened at retail.
And I mean, think about it, right? Even if the media has talked about the recession, we talk about it constantly. Every podcast talks about it. It's also like a mental reset, even if you don't feel it in your bank account. Like you talk about cutting streaming services. Is it really going to affect your life? No.
Yes.
$12.
I got money in my pocket now from all that cutting.
Get an extra breakfast burrito downstairs?
If I can afford it.
So the point is people are mentally making cuts because
you have to.
You're just everything's
consumer
fear,
confidence, yeah.
Right? It's just fear.
Yeah.
So like you have that combining with people also are sitting on record cash. So it's interesting. Is this like how much of this is a media-led recession? Because unemployment's still really low. Companies have not really started firing. Oh, sure, it's in tech. Like tech's firing a shit ton of people. Like if you're in tech, it's like bloodbath. But you don't see like Home Depot saying, I'm cutting 20% of our staff.
No, and I think what these retailers are doing first, their first line of defense is maybe cut my AC bill, reduce inventory exposure. Like there are like Target cancellations all over the world. I'm seeing like it's insane. People are complaining about that all over the world. You even see people like Target, Walmart, and Gap come out and say, we'd rather provide refunds to customers on online purchases and tell them to keep the goods. This is something Amazon was doing years ago because the math does not make sense in a lot of situations. If you have free returns and exchanges on e-commerce, it doesn't work. It just doesn't fucking work.
Well, what they're saying is you don't even have to give the goods back, right? Yeah. You just keep it.
Keep it. It's cheaper because the freight cost is so high.
I think Amazon's been doing that.
Amazon has been doing a lot of it
before the pandemic.
Yeah, I think
I've been a beneficiary of it.
Yeah, and I think like what will eventually happen is Amazon has to lead the way. They either have to make Prime $500 a year, or you have to start charging for fucking shipping again.
Yeah,
and start charging for returns. I think Zara started with like $3 or $4 for returns. But like if you do like a UPS or FedEx ground home or delivery, it's like close to $10. And if you return it, it costs the company probably $10 as well. So like you don't have that kind of margin to play with, especially when you're already discounting. Those unit economics don't work. So free returns and exchanges to me, unless you're capturing full gross margin, do not fucking work. And no one's capturing full gross margin anymore.
I mean, I could tell you, I've been wearing, I don't shop much, as we know, but I do like James Purse shirts.
Yeah.
They went from $69 to $80.
Go to Nordstrom Rack and TJ Maxx. They're all there. Full sections of them.
Yeah?
Yeah. Straight up.
I'll go.
But
that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a matter of like 2-3 months.
Yeah, that'll get corrected. Like they for sure are seeing a slowdown as well. They increased their prices because all of their costs went up, and they now have they made that decision months ago,
right,
to raise the prices, and then they're like, oh shit.
I mean, that's like a 15% increase.
Yeah.
It's not insignificant.
Yeah. Well, go to Nordstrom Rack. I saw it there.
Nice shirts.
Great shirts. I like Buck Mason, actually. Much cheaper.
I always asked Josh to get me some. He never did.
I mean, you go and buy James Purse. You can get 4 shirts for the same price. And that's actually a great shirt.
It's just psychology. When you know someone can get them for free, why would I pay for it?
I mean, he's not Buck or Mason.
See, maybe Josh will listen to this and get me some shirts.
Okay. That's interesting. But it's an interesting theory Michael Burry has. Like,
he just rattles cages, right? Like,
yeah, but
what's his long game? Is if the Fed starts reducing rates and quantitative easing, the market just rips.
That's what he's saying. He's like, what if that happens? Are you prepared for that?
So is he going long? He's
long a lot of companies. He's short a lot of companies, but he's also his whole list is out of what he's long and what he's short. So I think Kathy Wood was on CNBC this morning, the lady that runs the ARK fund, and she was like, in my 45 years of investing, I've never seen inventory positions like this.
Yeah, even Nike had earnings yesterday.
Yeah, and
the inventory is just piling.
And for them, like they beat on revenue, beat on earnings, but they're forecasting like there is clear indication there. So I think like someone like that, like a Kathy Wood and a Michael Burry, who are looking at this from a macro standpoint, they're seeing it in across industries. There's too much. There's clearly destruction of demand on top of that. Something will have to give.
Yeah,
because then you can't keep raising interest rates, because then you just double whammy.
So we're 3 weeks away from the next 75 basis points.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we should have an inflation number.
Yeah, I think that number is still going to be high.
So, like, airlines obviously still high.
Crazy.
Near term. If you look out, it's getting cheaper.
Yeah. What was your thing you were looking at in December?
Down 60%.
Yeah.
55%, something like that. Which
That's
is
crazy.
pretty. I think if you're a young person and you have some savings, first quarter 2023, just go bananas on travel.
Yeah.
Because I think everything will be dirt cheap by then. I think you're obviously December's holiday travel and like families are out, it's Christmas, and you're going to see folks, whatever. But come January, February, I think it's going to be a ghost town.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think, look, the only thing that will change that is if prices go down. If everything goes down, then people will re-engage.
Yeah.
Right? Like if prices don't go down, then it's screwed.
Yeah. I just think demand's going to fall off a cliff.
So there was a meeting, G7 meeting, and there was a hot mic. And I think Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, pulled up on Biden, and someone captured it saying, hey, by the way, the Saudis are tapped out. Like basically saying that.
Meaning they don't have any oil left.
They don't have any excess to give you guys or give any of us.
Right.
What's the fucking plan? That's not like a good sign.
No.
When these guys are like, so if that's what's happening, like the oil and gas crisis looks like it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And by the way, Russia...
Well, I think Below did a good job of explaining if we do actually hit a recession, demand should decrease.
So I think this weekend will be a big test. July 4th weekend is a huge driving weekend. It is the kickoff of summer driving.
Right. People go to Yosemite, people go to...
They'll have credit card data on fucking Monday of what happened. And you'll know instantly if people decided to not go do something because of gas prices. So I'll tell you anecdotally, I spoke to a Kathy insider in Vegas, and he said across the board, restaurant reservations are down.
Down year over year.
Yeah.
So we were in Vegas 1 year ago, a week after 4th of July, and it was insanity.
Yeah. Well, it was a high comp to beat.
Yeah, I think even
people said like, I think one of the hotel directors in one of the big hotels said like the last 2 weekends was like the first quiet weekend.
Because I think the number is 50% of Vegas is California.
Yeah, that was my point. I was talking to Eric Deluxe about this yesterday. Was like, think about how many times we would just on a whim on a Friday night just drive to Vegas.
Oh, we've done it.
Yeah, but imagine now it's like double the cost. This is when you had no money. Like you couldn't do that. Like,
has he seen softness in the clubs?
No.
He said the clubs are fine.
He said the clubs are packed.
But spend might be down.
Sure.
They might buy 2 balls instead of 3.
Yeah, and I think, look, the nightclub only reflects a small portion of the Vegas audience. Most people come to go out to eat, go to a show.
Yeah, like
gambling.
Is the Margaritaville slammed?
Yeah, I mean...
you get not the 9 foot, you get the 6 foot.
Yeah, you can't get a 9 foot margarita. You're downgrading to the 3 foot margarita. It's inflation. But yeah, I think the big challenge that I see is that...
I mean, just think about it, like even amongst our friend group, people you talk to daily, is there anyone like that is like, I'm going to spend more money than I was a year ago? I don't know anyone.
I know one person. Sam Bankman-Fried.
You know him.
I know that he's spending more money this year than he did last year.
That's true.
So he is the founder of FTX, the crypto trading platform. He is pledging $1 billion for the presidential election
for the Democratic
Party. And now it was rumored, but now he's backing off from it. But yesterday, the big news is that he was seeking a path to buy Robinhood. He has since then backed off from that statement. He did make a 900, how big of an investment did he just make in the company?
Yeah, he bought 9% of the company.
I think he put a $900 million investment recently into Robinhood, taking a pretty big stake in the business. It does make sense that he would be after it. I mean, how rich is this guy? He just seems like he's like, crypto's in the toilet. How does this guy have money?
I mean, there's a lot of people in the crypto world that think he front runs his trades, meaning he sees all the data and he's personally banking on it, long and short.
Personally Bankman. Yeah.
So he might have unlimited money.
Yeah.
Because if you're right on the long, you're right on the short, it doesn't matter. You still make money. Which
is completely fine. And
in crypto land, it's decentralized. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's illegal, but sure, no one's going to sue him. I think I mentioned it. He already fled to like, he's not in the U.S.
Yeah.
And
well, that's why he's backing the Democrats. I think he probably misses, some restaurants.
But I will say, I called him out on the pod a few, like last week, but for the crypto industry, he's personally backstopping a lot of this shit. Yeah. Like BlockFi was in a deep shit and he had FTX, backstop it and make sure they don't go insolvent.
He's going to save Robinhood.
Yeah, he might save Robinhood. Yeah. So he's obviously made a crap
Jim
ton of
Cramer
money.
called him the JP Morgan of this era. Like he is the banking god of this era. That he's taking the big swings that no one else is willing to take.
No one else has.
Yeah.
The Winklevi haven't.
And traditional banks haven't.
Coinbase hasn't.
Yeah.
And
this guy's got some cojones.
He does. He's 29 years old.
That guy's 29?
Yeah. Maybe he's 30. He's 29 last year, so probably 30 this year.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
So, I mean, I think for whatever practices he's doing, at least he's like believes in the space and wants to make sure it's here. And I think that's what my point on crypto was. Between Binance, you have Sam Bankman, you have Coinbase, you have like massive players that are so incentivized to keep the game going.
Yeah.
That, crypto will be a rocky for the foreseeable near future. It's not going to zero.
So Tom Lavero, who posted on Twitter, he's a
saw that, yeah.
partner at IVP. He used to be on the board of Coinbase till last year and was an investor in Coinbase. And he kind of gave his predictions. So his high level predictions are in 2022, crypto will go even lower. 2023 will be mostly flat to down until indifference sets in. And then crypto macro will improve in the second half of 2023. He thinks that he's like, this bear market isn't a black swan. It's a result of rising interest rates. So these investors will suffer until rates stabilize. This is the statement that always everyone says, don't fight the Fed. So you can't beat them. They're going, as if interest rates rise, equities, speculative investments, everything is down the tube. So
maybe if Michael Burry's right.
We're back. And the thing is like...
So to explain what kind of you just said is crypto is viewed similar to growth stocks.
Yeah.
It's a risk on asset. When interest rates are high, people take off risk. When interest rates are low, people take risks because you can find yield elsewhere. And when interest rates are really low, you can't find yield anywhere, so you go into riskier stuff.
Yep.
That's all it means.
Yeah. And I think what everyone is really trying to understand is like, how long will all this take? It's long until the Federal Reserve stops.
Yeah. Or you have clarity where okay, this is the rate. Let's create the economy rate. Because if you think about a lot of the Wall Street folks, what they're saying, at least the ones that I pay attention that seem to know what they're talking about. Obviously, no one really knows because
nobody knows anything.
Because you see, like the most successful, quote unquote, smartest people were going long some of these companies in like March.
Ago. Yeah.
And they're down like 30, 40, 50, 60%
since then
in like 60 days. But a lot of people think raise, economy tanks, cut, 2023.
Yeah.
That's what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone has the Michael Burry where they're going to cut like, in the fall, but I think everyone's pricing in a bunch of rate hikes and then everything starts cutting in 2023.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We shall see.
We also knew in December no one predicted any of this.
Yeah.
So,
I think the wealthiest people knew because they saw it in their businesses. There was a slowdown. Christmas was bad.
Yeah.
Just no one wanted to accept it. Everyone wanted to blame supply chain and you believed it. Oh yeah, supply chain's back. That's why my sales are down. Supply chain. That's all everyone wrote. No one said, oh, by the way, there's no fucking customers.
Yeah, I think freight capacity is going to fall off a cliff.
It is 100%. I have data.
If you have excess inventory and all the warehouses are full, you're not putting shit on ships, and that's going to go down. The price of a container is going to go down.
Yeah, it's already going down. We're down to 8,000 now from 18. It's going to go down even more.
Has freight gone down or air freight? Because you hear all the stories of all these canceled flights, and 50% of freight is on planes.
No, I don't think because there's a huge fuel surcharge on cargo air freight.
And I think there's a shortage of flights, right?
Yeah.
If all these flights are getting canceled.
So I'm sure cargo air freight is still very expensive. I haven't aired anything in a very long time, but I can't imagine it's lower.
It must be insane. It probably is way higher than ever.
Yeah. And
with canceled flights.
I bet you nobody's using it though. Because they're just like, what do I need more goods for?
True. If your warehouse is full.
Yeah. So, interesting to see what happens there. Here's something interesting. Ernst & Young, top world-class accounting firm, is paying $100 million fine after their own auditors cheated on ethics exams. I get people cheat. People cheat in high school. People cheat in college. I get it.
You may or may not have cheated and potentially
I may or may not have
expelled from USC.
Yeah, there are some dicey moments in my educational career. Never did I ever think to cheat on an ethics exam. What is the fucking point?
What is an ethics exam?
I know. Hey, Mr. Ernst, are you gonna cheat on people's taxes? I don't know. I mean, whatever that is. It's just a fucking shocking headline.
So Ernst & Young, it's top 4 firm, right?
Yeah.
It's Ernst, Deloitte. Obviously, Arthur Andersen went under during Enron.
Yeah.
KPMG. Who's the 4th?
I think those guys are all part of...
Wait, that's 3. There's a 4th. Ernst & Young, Deloitte, KPMG.
Isn't it the big 3?
Oh, because of the big 4 went down to big 3 to Enron?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But it's funny you bring this up because I don't know if you paid attention. There's a massive controversy in crypto right now over Tether. And Tether is a stable coin that has been accused of being a fraud since its existence.
Yeah.
Because they don't reveal that they're actually backed dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
And they publicly came out and said, we're getting audited by a top 12 audit firm.
Yeah, I saw that top 12.
It's like top 12.
Yeah.
Who can name 12 audit firms?
Yeah. And they're probably number 12. Yeah, that's really funny. I mean, $100 million fine. Keep it moving. It doesn't fucking matter.
Nah, none of it matters.
It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. But it's scary given these are the auditors.
Yeah.
So if that gives you any confidence in any of the prepared financials of the top companies in the world.
I'm convinced nothing we see in earnings is real. It's just directionally right.
Yeah.
Revenue probably went up. Is it really right?
Revenue is probably the only thing that's real.
Maybe. Because you think about how people recognize revenue. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans there.
Yeah, you can book a contract in February, but the revenues actually doesn't come until September, and you can just say, oh, that's revenue.
I see a lot of adjusted EBITDA.
Yeah,
I adjust it to have some earnings.
Yeah, but I think the entire financial system is directionally right.
Yeah.
But think about how many trillions move based on these reports.
Tens of trillions, not 1 trillion, tens of trillions.
And we have no confidence given Ernst & Young just paid $100 million fine, the largest ever.
What do you do when you're a publicly traded company and your boys here are just getting fined for cheating? Well, you know what? Maybe the Ernst & Young people won't have any more time to party because Airbnb banned all of them.
Interesting.
It's a pretty big move. I feel like that is a big part. I could be wrong, but I know plenty of people that rent an Airbnb and throw a birthday party.
Yeah.
In LA.
So do you do VRBO?
So they do a temporary global ban 2 years ago, obviously during the COVID thing. And now they will continue to bar disruptive parties and events, including open invite gatherings. Party houses, which people book for a large event for one night, will also be banned. So this is obviously in reaction to some bad stuff that's been happening.
Or do you think it's a marketing ploy because they see an angle to steal family travel? Because if Airbnb generally, veers younger, and I don't know how many families of four are just like, I'd rather do Airbnb outside of Disneyland than like the Hilton. And if they kind of re-image themselves as this like, we don't party, this is just actual lodging, well, they just attract a new customer.
No.
Because the people are going to party either way.
No, I think it's probably a reaction to some serious liability issues at these parties, right? Like, what happens at a party? Drinking, drugs, violence, any of these things can happen. Someone leaves an Airbnb,
assault, whatnot.
Yeah, he punches someone in the face. Someone leaves an Airbnb drinking, hits another car. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong, right? So I think that's one thing. Obviously, property damage is another thing. It's like when you look at they looked at it from a revenue standpoint and then a liability standpoint and said the risk reward of continuing this doesn't make sense. I don't think it's a marketing ploy because like I think it's more of like they're going out very public because this is a serious fucking problem.
So apparently it's been banned because of COVID.
Yeah.
For 2 years, and then they just made it permanent.
Yeah.
So do you think they just saw no decline? I mean, obviously their business is on fire with travel, and they were just like, why do we even want to deal with it?
I mean, maybe in December during the holiday season, goes, you know what, you guys can have parties. Business is a bit slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Business is slow. They'll
adjust. They'll adjust. And look, ultimately, it's not really their decision. It is the homeowner decision, right? Like, if they are comfortable with it, they must have. Most homeowners are not comfortable with having a party thrown at their house.
Of course.
Unless they built the house for that and that's how they monetize it. Then there's other routes. You can still rent out your house.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no homeowner that wants to throw parties at their houses. It's just the worst. Of course
not.
It's the worst.
There's no upside.
There's no upside. Unless you're charging gargantuan amount of money.
You have to charge like 5 to 10x whatever going rate is. And then you'd be like, yeah, destroy it.
Yeah. Interesting to see. Here's something that should have came 5 years ago. FCC is asking for Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores. Part of this is obviously based on the fact that of the BuzzFeed news story that U.S. user data was accessed repeatedly in China.
Why didn't they just listen to the podcast 2.5 years ago?
I mean, you don't even have to listen to anything. You just have common sense and you would have known this should have been looked at the moment they listed in America.
Yep. Where's the data going? The first time that a TikTok user had 1 million followers in the US, they should have been like, hey, we should probably look into this.
Yeah.
Have you seen, oh my God, there's an incredible account that I learned from Amanda. His name's Moshe, Moshe. He's a journalist. He just posts on Insta story, like 100 dots. Like you can get all your news. You don't even need to like go to a site. And he does wide ranging topics. Obviously the abortion stuff, gun control, all of it. And it's actually just news, not opinion.
Yeah.
So it's actually great because you can make your opinion based on the news. And he went through this like deep dive on China tech, what they're doing with the data, and they're predicting like who could potentially be like someone that the Chinese government doesn't want like in public.
Yeah.
Like meaning like they could be a dissident, they could be this, and how they're manipulating the data. Holy shit, it is so scary, and I can't believe they have all our American data.
Yeah. Who are they predicting to win the NFL season this year?
They would know.
They would know.
They would know. I can guarantee you if leading up to 2024 presidential election, forget the betting market, TikTok would know.
Yeah.
Who's winning?
Yeah. Probably by content being posted, positive, negative.
Yeah.
Data's powerful.
Yeah.
If Apple really cares about data, they get rid of TikTok.
They don't, so they won't.
Yeah. All right.
They just wanted to screw Facebook.
Moving on to the most popular TikTok star in the world. I don't want to. I'm going to butcher his name. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is it Khaby Lame?
Yeah. So I mean, admittedly, I had no idea who this person was until they beat Charli D'Amelio.
Number one TikTok star in the world is a 22-year-old who started making TikTok mocking life hack videos during lockdown after being laid off as a factory worker.
He's from Senegal.
Yeah. He does not speak in his videos.
He's Muslim.
142.5 million followers.
I think this is actually so striking because it was always the talk in technology from an investing perspective, like where the next billion users coming from. It's clearly, obviously, everyone's already online in the US.
Yeah.
But it's like places like Africa, Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, not China. They're already online. And you have a 22-year-old
black Muslim
that is the biggest star in the world.
Yeah. And he doesn't speak. It's like Mr. Bean.
So that just shows you that's where the next billion users are. Like they answered. Yeah. We all knew that it was Africa.
How much is ByteDance freaking out?
Yeah, especially with the
way they like to keep things.
Yes, the Uyghur situation. Like, how have they not? I'm shocked that they allowed it.
That means he's so popular that they probably throttled him, and he's just that popular.
Yeah,
you can't even undeny. I went on his TikTok just to see it. I mean, he has so many views with 30, 40, 50 million views, and the most insane people like Messi is in a video. Like everyone's in his videos. He's like the most A-list people in his videos.
Oh, they're actually in the video.
Yes.
So like, how does Messi?
Because I'm sure they're just like, yo, Messi, you need to be in this guy. He's the number one TikTok followers in the world. Everyone's in his videos.
I'm telling you, like, this is kind of crazy for like content creators. Like, that's the future, not what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because now the world's flat. Everyone, there's 5 billion smartphones, something like that. And anyone can become a creator. We've literally broken down every barrier.
Yeah.
And this kid from Senegal who was a laid off factory worker.
Yeah.
Is the biggest guy in the world. And it's no different than these TikTok kids who became famous here.
Yeah. I mean,
they were all nobodies.
He was at Grand Prix in Monte Carlo. He walked the red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival. It's amazing. This is an amazing story. He's one of the faces of Hugo Boss. I mean, his videos on TikTok are insane. Like, first the views, and then second, like, who he is.
How funny is this? So Italy wouldn't give him citizenship.
Wow.
And June 24th, so 4 days ago, they granted him citizenship.
When you're the biggest star in the world. Why do you want to go to Italy?
I'm sure his family immigrated there.
I mean, I'd go to a different country.
He lives in Milan as an expat with his agent as of 2021.
That's an interesting place he chose. Of all the places.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That everything, think about it. He's bigger than every star in America.
Yeah.
Every single one.
On the most important platform in the world.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say a word in his videos. That is even more amazing.
Good for him. And if you're I noticed this is like probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago. It's the way content is consumed internationally. And this is, I don't know if Snap was like that hot back then, but it was growing in the US. But then I remember being in a security line in Dubai, and every their equivalent of a TSA worker was just watching Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. This is insane.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that crazy in America yet.
Yeah.
But I saw everyone internationally watching it.
And isn't TikTok banned in India?
Yes.
That's insane.
TikTok's banned unless you use a VPN and you get around it.
Yeah. That's wild.
So how many followers would you have?
Yeah. Insane.
Just 1.3 billion can't access him.
That's crazy.
And he's throttled in China for sure.
Yeah. They're probably freaking out. How did this guy break through our algorithm? Good for him, man. Congrats. Most followed person on earth.
And like he's got like some Italian agent. It's like, where was like CIA and William Morris?
Yeah. How did they slip this one? Because a global star.
Yeah.
All right. Good news. Our next president, Gavin Newsom, is handing out money in anticipation of his presidential run. They are calling for a $9.5 billion tax refund, giving families up to $1,000.50 this fall because of a gas rebate. So an individual who earns up to $75,000 a year would receive a $350 refund, which would double for $700 for joint filers earning as much as $150,000, and you would receive an additional $350 if they claimed any dependents. If you earn single filers up to $250, up to $125,000 would get $250 refunds. Joint family up to $250 would get $500.
Newsom.
Yeah.
He's using that surplus.
Yeah. I mean, even individuals who earn up to $250,000 receive $200, and then joint filers up to $500 will receive $400 for the joint. That's not bad.
Yeah. Newsom handing it out. And you call him the next president, huh?
I mean, you start handing out money, you become real popular real quick.
Hand out money, gel that hair.
Gel that hair, dye it a little darker so it doesn't look gray, and you're good.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't believe that he was public enemy number one in California for over 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, everyone had jokes about him.
He's going to run
president. That should tell you, kids. Kabi Lame, I hope he's not butchering his name, and Gavin Newsom should be signs that it really doesn't matter where you come from.
I mean, look at Kyrie Irving. He was everyone's hated person. He's making $37 million now.
And might come to the Lakers.
Yeah. He was holding his own practices after the coach ended practice.
Yeah.
And he didn't show up for work.
It doesn't matter what you do. Unless you're a sex trafficker, then Ghislaine Maxwell is going to get sentenced now for 20 years in prison. She was on suicide watch this weekend.
I saw that.
That's such an insane. Like, what are you making this public? Just keep her alive.
Yeah, I mean,
20 years is not that long given her age.
It's still crazy.
She can outlive that.
Yeah, she of course can, but we still haven't learned anything.
Yeah. They're not sharing any names. It's too detrimental. It's like one of those, those CIA movies where like, we must protect the Republic at all costs. This information would destroy the financial systems.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't learned one thing about this case. We've seen some like
a lot of pictures.
We've seen some private jet manifestos of who's traveling where. I think it's bizarre.
Yeah.
That everyone's in on this. We can't find one thing. But let's just end on this. Elon's been quiet.
Yeah.
I've been looking at like
some employee of his said that Elon's alive and well. I saw him on the factory floor today.
Because he's been so quiet.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Did that SpaceX letter shake him up and like reset him? Like, he's obviously a really smart dude. He's a fucking genius.
He's not going to jeopardize everything.
I think he cares more about the mission than all the
press
chicanery he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was probably like...
who's also noticeably quiet is Kanye West.
Didn't he just do the BT?
Yeah, he came out in support of Diddy just to...
I didn't hear the speech. Was it good? A lot of people posted it.
But I'm saying is like, he obviously only came out because they were honoring Diddy. But like, he's been noticeably quiet too.
Yeah. I think that probably has a lot to do with making sure he can see his kids.
Yeah.
And Kim K, she's been out and about.
Yeah. What happened to Pete? Is he around?
I think he's around.
Good for him. All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up. We will back here Thursday. Get you ready for that long weekend coming up. I'm curious to see if people are driving. That is my big question of the week.
What are you doing 4th of July? Are you doing the Bootsy?
I think we might.
DM Bootsy if you want a wristband.
No, do not DM me. I have no control over this party. Do not ask me to get anyone in. It is the party says Bootsy Bellows and Revolve. You should hit up those people.
Two close friends of both of ours, and
you should hit up those people. I work at those companies. I have nothing to do with this event. Do not hit me up.
Are you going?
I think so. Yeah, I want to go. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of fun. It was just a matter of where we're going to be as a family. We might go see the in-laws for a day or two, take the kids to the beach, whatever. Depending on that, what time we get back. But we'll probably get back Monday morning, and then I'll be free.
Wristband alert.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great hump day. Bye-bye.